Yo, what's going on, guys? Your boy Pony Montana, and in this video we are going over the best defense in Madden 23 part 2. This is going to be a part 2 to the earlier video that I posted a few days ago, where I went over the hybrid defense of match coverage and zone coverage out of dollar. Now in this video we're going to be coming out of big nickel over G, and there are certain things that you guys are going to need to do to make that defense possibly just as good or better than the dollar version. Now, before I get into it, if you guys are new to the channel, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and comment down below on anything you guys might want to see on the channel. If you guys are struggling with anything, leave it down in the comment section. Comment anything, or just comment FTA. You guys already know the vibes. If you're back for another one, for the algorithm, it helps push these videos to more and more people. We are at the end of the Madden season. 99 overalls are out officially, and yeah, so if you guys are still struggling with anything, leave it down in the comment section. It doesn't matter how simple it is, I will make a video for you. Now, let's get right into it. This is going to be a long one because there is a lot more explaining in this specific defense. And the first things first, before you guys do anything, when you guys come out in the big nickel over G, you guys have to look at your packages. You guys have to be in the slot cornerback package for your defense to work as best as possible. If you're not in the slot package, you're going to end up having a bad time not knowing how your adjustments are working, because they are different in every other formation. So big nickel is one of the most confusing, simply because a lot of people don't know to switch their package to the slot cornerback package. Okay, that's going to make it so that there's a cornerback in this position here instead of a safety. Big nickel. That's what big nickel means. You have a big in the nickel corner spot, so that's a safety, and they go into that specific position, making it so you have to go in the slot cornerback position, or else your hot routes, your defensive hot routes, let me just call them that, are going to change. And you'll understand when I start talking about the video. Now, for audibles, you're going to go cover 4 quarters, cover 4 palms, and SS blitz 2. You don't really need SS blitz 2 because that's going to be the main play that we come out in. But this defense is going to be made to confuse the life out of your opponents. Zone coverage is good. Match coverage is great. You combine the two and you get a defense that is hard for a lot of people to actually utilize. And if you understand matching principles, these two defenses, voice crack, but these two defenses are going to go crazy, and it's going to confuse a lot of people. Match it up with this one and you're going to clamp up a lot of people. Now, one of the best things about big nickel over G is that I don't have to go over run defense, because it's run defense in general. As long as you're not, over pursuing your gaps, or, over pursuing the way that you should be playing your gaps, the run defense is easy, and I'm not going to be going over that. We're going to be going over pass defense here. Now, for personnel, I like to have my 2 safeties in the middle. As you guys can see, I have Rodney Harrison and Brian Dawkins as my 2 middle safeties. And then I got Cromwell, who's supposed to be a cornerback because I made the package, but he has an ability, so I'm going to leave him on the field for now. And then for your abilities, this is where I'm just going to call the play, but we're going to go over that after I showcase the coach adjustments. So just like the dollar video, we've got off on auto flip defensive play call. Then on auto alignment, we have it set to base, and then you're going to set your zone coverage to match, and then your flats. This is a personal preference. I like to have my flats down to a, between 20 to 30. I want my flats to be able to play corner routes or any deep kind of zones, and I think 20 is the sweet spot for this specific defense. You are going to want to have to adjust your curl flats as well. So it doesn't matter what it is, 20, 25, because there is a certain situation that might happen in this defense. So I'm going to set this to, let's just set it to a 5 and leave it at that. Then that's it. That's going to be your defense here. That's going to be your coaching adjustments, and you can play with the levels that these actually go. So whether 5, 10, that's up to you. That's up to how the player that you're playing is playing. And I personally like my flats to be within the 20 to 30 range. So let's go ahead and call the defense. And one more thing. You want to have your nickel cornerback, this guy here. You see how there's an X here? That is your nickel cornerback. You want to have that guy on the wide side of the field. So if the ball is on the left side, you want that guy to be on the opposite side because you want that extra defender to help kind of clear out or close the gap and close the space that some people might have when it comes to trying to run their offense. The short side, your users sort of going to be on that side more often, so you're going to be able to close that gap yourself because your user is going to be a lot more powerful than the computer is, and that's going to allow you to, you know, get your plays off. So I'm going to go ahead and call this middle high low play. It's a very good play out of the empty set, and your base play is going to be this SS Blitz 2. And yes, I'm talking a lot, but this defense is actually kind of fun to play with, simply because you're relying on that 4-man pressure coming from the front. So abilities on the defense. Now this is where things get interesting and a little bit fun. So on the edge guys here, you're going to want to have either obviously the setup that I have right now with, you know, Tank and the Milkman, because they have the best X factor for D linemen. They have the best X factor activated at the start of the game, which is going to allow you to pretty much go crazy, sub them in on third downs and, you know, in passing situations, and they should go absolutely nuts for you, especially for swapping them back and forth. Now, this is optional, but you guys can have the stack of double or nothing and etch threat on these outside guys, because there are going to be a lot of situations where some people don't listen to the videos that I post where they don't have secure protectors on their field, and etch threats. And these edge threats go crazy for most casual players, and they get extremely frustrated. And I promise most people will end up quitting out if they're just getting pressured non-stop. Now, edge threat, double or nothing, that stack still works decently. It's not the end all be all. It's not as good as it once was because everyone has secure or etch protectors, but with the stack of double or nothing, you can actually flip those players and end up building the resistance bars on the O lineman. And then once you flip it, it resets it, but those guys still have their pass rush points, which allows them to get pretty decent sheds from time to time. So that's a nice little spoiler that might end up in another video, but that is something that you guys need to know, because in this defense, one of the main things in any four down lineman defense, you want pressure with those 4 being sent. So after those guys, a lot of people like to have inside stuff on these 2 guys here. I'm telling you right now, if you don't need inside stuff if you're running a 4 down lineman set. Your user just has to be pretty good. You guys have to know your run gaps, your gap shoot. So right now, Brian Dawkins' gap shoot is right here. So I'm going to try to loop into that specific hole while I know that the defensive end is supposed to be going through the other gap. So because he's going through that gap, so just for example, because he's going through this guy's going through this gap, I'm going to try to loop around here to try to shoot down to try to stop whatever run might potentially be coming. Now, double or nothing on everybody on your D line. To make this a long story short, double or nothing is going to be the case. So again, that is going to be how you want to run the defense. Now you see how my corner is out here. I don't want that. I want my corner to be on the opposite side. So let me call timeout, and I'm going to flip the play. Since the ball is on the right hash mark, I want my corner to be on that left hash mark. So let me find the SS Blitz. So boom. And I'm going to call the mid-high-low once again, middle-high-low. And now this guy is on the left side exactly where I wanted him. And the first thing you guys are going to want to do when you guys come out of the huddle is you're going to reset the play. And the way you do that is you press square and it brings up your audibles, and then you're going to press L2. Now what this does, it resets the match coverage principles on the field. So the soft squats are going to match as if you are still running match coverage with no zone drops, and then same thing for the opposite guy. So what we're going to do is take the side with less receivers. Yes, with less receivers. And we're going to go ahead and put everybody in some form of a matching principle kind of defense. So Cromwell here, the only thing that is going to be matching is vertical hook or a seam flat. So as you guys can see, we're going to put him on a seam flat. Then Aqib Talib here, we're going to put him on an outside quarter. So boom. And then we got Sandcastle here. We can put him in an inside quarter. So boom, boom, boom. And then this guy here, if you want to put Harrison in a flat, you guys can do that. So as you can see, you got the hard flat out there. So we're going to put them in a hard flat. So now the flats on the outside should be, everything that's on that left side should be absolutely clamped up. And then on the right side, instead of having this soft squat here, we're going to put him in either a cloud flat, or we're going to put him on his own outside quarter. Because if you guys are playing match coverage, this guy's going to end up kind of matching up to this guy. But we're going to put him in a flat, simply so that, in a cloud flat, because a lot of the times one of the main things that ends up beating this route is something going over the top, right above their head, and that gets extremely frustrating. So what your user is going to do, so right now everything from this side, because this is the short side of the field, everything is sort of going to be clamped up from this side, and we're praying is the wrong word. We're hoping to get a fast enough shed to where we can take our user here and kind of shade underneath and kind of guard this entire area. That's going to be our user's job. And one of the main things that you guys have to make note of is this guy here. If you guys don't want him in some form of a deep zone, like an inside quarter, you can put him in a deep zone, a deep third in the middle. And if you do that, you're gonna have to make sure that you're following this guy up, because he will beat you in the seams, because this safety here is going to end up trailing out here depending on what route is going out, because he's currently in a deep half. So this is going to be a basic setup to how you dominate certain people in this game with this specific defense. Now, to the opposite side, if you do want to have this deep out zone here and you want to have this outside quarter here, make sure that you put one of these safeties in their flats, and then user the opposite side safety. And again, you're going to have the same kind of situation here. So pretty much take these two safeties and you're always going to put them in some kind of a flat, simply because you might have a running back that's out there. You might have somebody out there that could potentially be destroying your guy in the flats. So you want to have those hard flats out there so they can sit there and kind of make sure that they're guarding those underneath routes. So after that's the case, you're hoping for the sheds. As you can see, everything is pretty much clamped up. And I'll go ahead and show the instant replay on that. The middle high, the post route that's in there is going to be one of the most frustrating things there, because we're guarding everything that's underneath, but nothing went underneath, and that's our own fault. So obviously before this route even breaks open or looks like it's completely open, because right there, that's the first time that it looked open, quarterback is getting sacked. Double pressure, triple pressure technically, because this guy ends up getting the shed in the last minute. But as you guys can see, we have our flat pattern absolutely clamped. If this guy ended up going up the field, then someone else would have ended up clamping him. But as you can see, we had this guy in a seam flat, and look at how well Cromwell played him. He played him absolutely perfect, and I could not ask for better defense than that out of my defender. But as you can see, absolutely clamped up. And this happens with a lot of different defenses, especially if you're making sure that the side that has the least amount of players on it, that's the side that you want to send that match coverage on, because the least amount of players that you have to focus on, the better positioning that your guys will end up getting if you're running into a situation where you want them to be, double covered or whatever the case is. So right now we send Cromwell into that seam flat, and if you want to switch it up and leave this guy in a deep zone, take the outside corner and leave this guy in, instead of putting him in a soft squat, put him in that deep blue, put him in a cloud flat. And again, you're setting up the defense to pretty much go crazy with these kind of hybrid zone situations. So right now we have that match coverage that's going to work, and then you got a vert hook that's going to work. And then if you guys want to have the outside here, put these guys in inside quarters. But if you do that, make sure you guys have a deep blue, because these guys will end up frustrating your guys. So we're going to put him in an outside quarter. And then our defense is going to end up having to rely on guarding the flat going outside here. So again, your linebackers are going to be focused on pretty much guarding the outside. So boom, outside, and then we go ahead and guard that. And even that time, this play specifically clamped down because of the kind of defense that we just played. Again, don't be afraid of putting those inside quarters, because they will match up to a lot of the players. Look at where this inside quarter went. But we had the deep blue out there because it is a 5 wide situation, which kind of confuses the defense a lot. But as you can see, man, everything else absolutely clamped up, because it's that hybrid zone kind of situation that frustrates a lot of people. Then if they start getting comfortable with that, reset the play, and then audible into one of your regular match coverages. And some people think that this doesn't actually work, so I'm actually going to prove that it works, and I'm going to hop into cover 4 quarters. This is a very easy cover 4 beater. Is you take the tight end out of the middle high low read and you put him on a streak. Now I'm just going to show the instant replay because obviously my D-line gets enough pressure where it's going to frustrate a lot of people, but I'm going to go ahead and showcase what happens in this specific play. Even though we got bumped here, this is cover 4. We're destroying a cover 4 here because we're currently in match coverage. If we don't have the match coverage, if we don't reset the play, this is going to be the result here. So I'm going to go ahead and just audible straight the cover 4 quarters. We still have our routes out there, and it's going to be the same exact situation. You see how he didn't really focus on him until way late. So I'm actually going to show the instant replay on that. So he came down last time fairly early, but he followed him up pretty much most of the way, and he's still kind of focusing on him as well. But the match coverage doesn't really work like that when it comes to this specific play unless you reset the play, and that's exactly what happens. This defense is kind of tough, I'm not gonna lie. But again, if you guys don't do the main step, and that is changing your packages into the slot cornerback package, you're gonna end up being extremely frustrated with how your audibles work. So I'll show you exactly what I mean by that right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back into the normal package, and we're gonna call this SS Blitz 2. And if you guys can see, I'm gonna try to put my cornerback into anything, and as you can see, look at where the cornerback is. I'm currently audibling where Cromwell is, which is the nickel cornerback spot, because it's in big nickel over G. If you don't switch that package, look at the kind of adjustments that you guys are going to be able to play. They're too confusing for a brand new user, so obviously it's going to be very frustrating for those of you guys who don't know how to play the game that well. So you don't want to put your guy, you don't want to try to put your guy in a flat and then you end up putting him in, a deep half on the left side. Look at where this guy is going. He's running literally across the field. That's not going to help anybody. Same thing with an outside third. Look at where the outside third goes, to the left. You can literally do that in this game, and it's gonna confuse you more than anything. So again, make sure you guys have your pressure coming up. Make sure you guys have your slot cornerback package in. And that is going to be it for this video. Hopefully, if you guys are running big nickel over G, this video helps you guys out, especially if you guys want to run it in a more unique way, because I know man coverage is so boring to me, and this kind of makes the game a little bit more fun, in my opinion, to try to work through adjustments, because it will help you with actually adjusting in Madden in general. So hopefully this video helps you guys out. My name is Pony Montana. I will see you guys in the next video. I left the squiggly out there, I apologize, but I'll see you guys in the next video, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see y'all in the next one, man. Leave a comment, subscribe if you are new, and as always, 2 fingers, deuces, and peace out, you guys.